Hello, VideoGamer.
Hello?
Hi, who's this?
Steve?
How can I help you?
Is Steve there?
Sorry?
I want to speak to Steve.
Yeah, this is he.
You are Steve?
Yes.
No, man. He's supposed to come back to me on a flight for December.
Where is the flight going to?
To Cape Town.
To Cape Town? And what's the flight in aid of?
No, okay. You're not Steve.
Sorry, I think you may have the wrong number.
People only say they like Deadly
No
Premonition.
one actually likes Deadly Premonition.
like it.
They just say it to
I like it.
be that guy.
I'm not being that guy.
Steve Burns is that guy.
How fucking dare you?
Hello and welcome to the Video Gamer UK podcast. My name is Chris Breath, and today I'm joined by a selection of lovely human beings. The year of Burns continues onwards, strongly and fiercely.
Hello.
Stephen Burns. Hiya, you alright?
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
He doesn't get One Piece, and I don't really get him. It's Simon Miller. And have you heard about the Warriors in Wildstar, David Scammell?
Oh, God.
There we
Don't
are.
even bring it up.
I feel good now.
What does that mean?
It's a little in-joke.
It's a little in joke.
Okay.
It's all in jokes.
Where did we start the podcast?
I don't really know. Probably
There's a Deadly Premonition restaurant, right?
in and around
Let's
the
talk about Deadly
Premonition.
Premonition. That's nice and topical.
Why?
Well, because I really don't understand the game. Brad
Mhm.
and I played it for a live stream a couple of months ago.
Yeah, I'd say,
whatever it was.
to be fair, probably not the game to play on a live stream.
No,
with the two of us.
it just feels padded and boring. But I know this man to my left, Stephen W. Burns, likes it.
Yeah, I do like it.
Why?
Well, it's fucking terrible, objectively.
Excellent.
Right.
But
It's tick that box.
it's the game that Alan Wake thought it would be.
So I never played Alan Wake. So it's
Actually, I
difficult.
think you'd really like
A
Alan
coffee
Wake.
making simulator.
Yeah. It's Twin Peaks, the game.
Mm-hmm.
Which one? Deadly Premonition or Alan
Well,
Wake?
Alan Wake started as a kind of open world. It had vehicle sections in it.
I like the idea of Alan Wake. It just took
Yeah.
too long to come out, and I got tired
I
of the
think-
concept.
You fight a combine harvester.
I mean, that is
In
pretty,
Alan Wake or Deadly Premonition?
Alan Wake.
Right.
It's pretty cool. Play it. Play now all the kind of hype and
It's
all
like
the
Bratton's best game.
backlashes.
It's not as if he made it.
I've
It's
tried
just this
I tried
magical
to play it.
horse.
I tried to play it with sound. I didn't get it.
Alan Wake.
Oh God! Right, okay. We need to nail this down now. Which game are we currently talking about? Alan Wake or Deadly Premonition? Someone decide.
Alan Wake at the moment, but I'm
Okay.
going to talk about Deadly Premonition.
Jeez. Okay.
This is how
Sorry.
talking works. So, Alan Wake then got stripped back because they took so long to make it, and it became a lot more linear. Whereas Deadly Premonition is there you go.
Thanks.
Is Twin Peaks the game? And yeah, I mean, it has quite possibly the worst opening of any video game ever.
It's just so drawn out and boring.
When
And
you're
you've got that weird
walking around-
Resident Evil section that goes on for a lifetime.
But once you get past that and into the town, now there are still loads of problems. The HUD is like Dreamcast size.
Yeah.
Driving
and
around that game
resolution.
is ridiculous as well.
And it took me about 4 hours to get into it, which by my own rules is far too long.
Yeah.
But there's a moment where I was driving towards one of the kind of mid-game missions, and when I'm not sure if you got to this, but when he drives around, he kind of talks to himself essentially about stuff, and he starts referencing pop culture. And in one instance, he was driving and started talking about Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, and then that was actually Miller. That was weirder than anything that's in the game. But
You don't remember the cartoon?
Is that how it goes?
Yeah. It
Right.
is.
Excellent.
Find it on YouTube. Put a little snippet in there.
I do
Me
remember
too.
the cartoon,
Me
but I don't
too.
remember the.
It's on the
thing.
cartoon. From the cartoon.
Right, okay.
Yep, keep going.
But yeah, he's talking about there's a big prompt that just says talk. So you press it.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And then he starts talking about the DVD re-release, and there's not many special features, and you're like, this is just so bizarre. And as you keep on going around and not doing those weird Resident Evil sections, as you go around and speak to the townsfolk, it really starts drawing you in.
I did like that
strange.
side of it, like the random bizarre nature of how those conversations work. I just didn't like the game at all. Like the game that tied it all together was I don't know, like even the
that bit in the hospital when you're
Yeah,
walking
that's
around.
exactly what I was
feel
thinking
like
of.
I did that. I feel like half my life to this point
Was in that
was
hospital.
in that hospital. Yeah, it was so long-winded. And you didn't do anything.
And
it was
the-
so poorly signposted.
The weird jazz piano where you see the guy who looks like Usher, and he's
Don't
the
remember.
Yeah,
is he
yeah.
the pathologist, and he's talking about the dead body, and he's like, oh,
I think you actually walked out of the room at that point. I think.
and he
I remember I
says,
was well bored.
he says, oh, her tongue has been removed. This is a serious crime. And suddenly in comes the jazz piano. He starts tinkling away. In the
I
background.
don't remember that
It's
bit.
so bizarre.
That's the thing. I mean, I'm sure it's got a personality, I guess, but just the game itself is so boring. That's my problem with
Do you like Twin Peaks? Have you ever watched it?
I never watched Twin Peaks.
Yeah, because I mean,
Do you know why I
that,
never
that
watched
splits people down the middle, doesn't
Yeah,
it? People
yeah.
either love or hate that.
It's
The first David Lynch thing I ever saw was Eraserhead, and ever since that, I was like, I never want to watch a David Lynch movie again.
Fair one.
Although I did see Blue Velvet, and that, although that has more of a story to it, it's still absolutely terrifying. I was like, I don't think I want to watch any more David Lynch stuff, to be honest.
In terms of how it was made, and I think that, as Swery has admitted, it's trash. Well, he probably didn't say that, but there's like a director's cut on PC, which apparently solved some of the issues. But it is an exercise in a lot of style over substance and the atmosphere and tone. And it's the reason I really like it is because it kind of nails exactly that in a way that other games don't, in a way that other games with all their money and bombast are thinking, yeah, we're going to have this really like...
Maybe I need the money and bombast.
There's going to be a guy with a
Maybe.
gun.
But yeah,
Has to make some hard decisions.
yeah, I personally prefer it to Alan Wake, which I really liked because they seemed like they were going through exactly the same idea, but one of the guys, or the team, should I say, realised that it would be too weird and too ambitious to do. And the other guys went, well, we're going to do it anyway.
Fuck it.
And
That weird scene with that we tried to recreate with the coffee,
yeah,
where you when
At
you
the
when you
other end of
first
the table.
when you first stay at the hotel.
yeah.
It's just so fucking bizarre. Like we that was the first thing we ever saw because we do like these little teasers when we do a live stream, and we tried to recreate that. So we just found a random clip of Deadly Premonition, and that was it. And we assumed that the reason it was bizarre was because we didn't get the context of it at all. Obviously, there was something else going on there. I'm not sure that there was really much else.
Well, that's the Twin Peaks reference,
yeah.
so isn't it? with
Yeah,
coffee,
I don't
so-
mind. I don't mind bizarre, but this just felt like it was, throwing stuff at the wall for the sake of it. Anyway, that's enough of a game that's 3 years old, 4 years
It's
old.
pretty old.
An old game.
I played it for 5 minutes and thought it was a load of old guff.
Yep, I'm with Scammell.
Says the man that played through Deadfall Adventures for fun.
Mhm.
Anyway, next topic of conversation is...
Deadfall Adventures.
What was Deadfall Adventures like?
Fucking atrocious. Probably the worst shooter I've ever played.
Really? Put that on the box.
Wow.
You'd buy it though, wouldn't you? You'd buy it. If you saw that game, worst shooter I've ever played, you'd probably pick
I would
it
buy
up.
it
Yeah.
immediately.
I bought Ride to Hell, didn't I?
You played through that?
I didn't play through. I got to a bit that you couldn't finish.
Why?
Well, because it was either incredibly difficult or the bit hadn't been designed properly.
I saw
my gosh.
I saw a clip of
Let's-
Ride to Hell. Sorry, just really quickly from one of Jim's friends from back home. Actually, Guy Woodward. He's got like this.
Woodward.
A let's play. Is that not what
How
I
much
said?
wood if it would?
I'm just laughing that his last name is Wood. Don't
Oh,
worry
right,
about it.
okay.
Here you go.
And like
Double
when you
wood.
actually pay attention to it, that game gets scaled completely wrong. When you compare the size of like
Ride to Hell.
like like there's a door to like I think it's a bathroom door or something. It's like twice the size of this guy, and the fire extinguisher next to it is half your body. Like it's something
All
you
the
don't
things
notice.
wrong with that
And
game.
then
That
when you-
wasn't the thing that I would.
But when you see
pull out.
it, you can't see anything else.
Fair enough.
It's,
Should we just make this? I mean, has anyone played anything new?
Talking of wood.
Let's just talk about bad games we've played in the past.
What? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
But go on. We're
okay.
talking of wood. Go on.
I was going to say, I jizzed in my pants for Drive Club's new weather stuff yesterday.
he's
It did look pretty good,
what
didn't
what
it?
a segue that was.
But that works.
Talking
'Cause
of wood.
that works because there was a time when Drive Club looked like pants.
Mhm.
Oh
And
yeah.
now it doesn't. So that's a bad game. That counts.
The
But
turnaround
it
on
does
that
look-
game, I don't understand what they've done.
How does it play? You've played it.
Really well.
But what kind of? Give me is it a Forza? Is it a
If you
Grand
think-
Theft Auto? No, what I'm
If
talking
you
about
think
PGR.
of PGR,
Yep.
but in rural countryside rather
Mhm.
than within cities.
So it's arcadey-ish.
yeah,
Well, that
it's that,
excites me.
essentially.
Well, that excites me, to be honest, because
Yeah.
I need a game like that. Because if you think about because even Forza Horizon doesn't feel arcadey.
No,
Do you know what I mean? PGR, you could swing your back tires around
I don't
corners
know.
and
Forza
stuff like that.
Horizon does a little. I mean, it's still grounded in
treads,
that sort of.
It treads the line because it's Forza.
Yeah.
And so therefore, it's always going to do that. But I want a game where I can approach a corner about 100 miles an hour, brake at the last minute, swing my tyres around it, and zoom off. I mean, PGR did that to a certain extent.
I don't know. It's not. you have to race as if you are a racer rather than a.
That's right. That's kind of PGR.
Wanker.
Yeah. No, you know what? I haven't played enough of it really. You know, I've only played it for 20 minutes or so. But no, I thought it was really good, and the difference compared to last year is unbelievable. But
It looks amazing.
Oh, the weather
Those
stuff.
videos they put out yesterday.
Like what? Say what? Say what? Is this a real video game?
Wow, what was that? I don't know.
It does look realish.
It does.
You know what I mean? It does look realish. I'm pretty sure I could show it to my dad. Although saying that, my dad thought ISS 64. I remember sitting there in my uncle's house, I think I was in, and I bought a Nintendo 64 for Christmas. We were playing ISS 64. I remember my dad sitting there, my uncle going, it looks real. Dad, they look like boxes. What are you talking about? So I could easily probably convince my dad that
Is
it
that
looks
when you
real.
looked
But
up
it
and
does.
your dad was a box himself?
Yeah, and it's all a dream.
It's just not a launch though. That weather stuff. I don't think.
I don't understand. How can you not have weather in your game at launch?
What? Is it,
Weather.
What's the, so what is
Well, I
gonna be
think it's
patched
coming
in?
as an update afterwards.
Not
yeah.
like for not money update.
I don't know.
Buy
I would
rain for
assume
£2.
not, but-
That's the end. That is.
I was about to have a go at that, but I recently got the weather updates in Dota 2 after buying the compendium. And
Well, I was gonna
lost
say-
my fucking shit over it.
I was
It's incredible.
We can't say anything because that is the world we live in. That is just what Steam Early Access is, isn't it? I know it's a full retail game and stuff, but everybody borrows ideas from everybody else. So, but it better be like a week. It can't be 6 months down the line.
that gonna be-
It'll be a couple of months.
Is that
going to
be a new thing, like interviewing a dev? And so, obviously, some very impressive weather effects. Then, when do you think we'll be seeing that? Oh, we're not ready to talk about that
How
yet.
can rain not be ready at launch?
Yeah, but Miller,
What is going to be ready at launch? Do you know what I mean?
Cars.
I do.
Cars.
Yeah.
Tracks.
I wonder how the
I know
PlayStation
what
Plus
you're
side of it.
No
is affected.
fuel. No fuel at launch.
No.
You have to get that a week later to just sit there and look at the cars.
Well, I don't know.
That is car game.
It's a weird one because
I think it's bizarre.
it's one that I think they've kind of tried to approach as a games as a service type thing, where they just roll out new features.
Yeah, but weather has to come day one, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one I think they think will have a long tail, but I'm not sure if it's not all there day one. I don't think it'll ever have a chance of having a
You've
tail.
got to have weather day one. I know. I'm sure weather is really hard to develop and tough and stuff.
I
but
don't think so. I think it's pretty easy.
But let's say it's not right. But it's weather. No one's going to be impressed with weather. Like, what do you mean now with weather?
Yeah, but all they need to do is show that in an advert. Show that.
They can't show that in an advert if it's not there though.
No,
Day
but-
one.
They already have. haven't
Well,
they?
yeah, those videos are lies.
Well, I don't
There,
know.
put that in your box. Drive Club. Those videos
those
are lies.
videos are lies.
And
Picture
another
you
thing,
shaking your thing.
Yeah, exactly.
you brought up Dota.
Mhm.
I'm going to bring up Battleborn.
All right.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that.
Gearbox's new
Matt,
game.
I keep getting
Why?
Battleborn and Bloodborne.
What's
a
this
little
Born nonsense? Why is that a thing
Bloodborne,
now?
Battleborn, Scalebound.
Born supremacy.
Bourbon biscuits.
Oh yeah,
I mean, there's too many. You're right. There's just
Yeah.
far
and
too
they all
many.
sound so generic.
The Battleborn is not a good name for a game. Neither is Bloodborne though.
I don't know. I was
to be
thinking about
fair.
this on the way in. I thought, because last night I thought, what a shit name. And on the way in this morning, I thought, no, you know what? That audience probably loved that name.
So-
and
To be fair, yeah, if I was going to call a game, I'd call it like Skull Daggers
Yeah,
or
exactly.
something like that. So yeah, you're
It's
probably right.
Battleborn is
it's an
the new
FPS
title
MOBA essentially.
coming from Gearbox.
with
Yeah.
5-player co-op.
Yeah. Well,
It's
well,
Borderlands
they
3
kind of
without
backtracked
calling
on
it
the MOBA
Borderlands
thing
3.
a little bit, didn't they?
Wow, I'm not sure if they did or
It's
not.
a MOBA-like. I think is probably closer.
Oh,
It's a
it's
first-person shooter with fast leveling, minion shooting,
hmm
and
So
lots
is
of
it just-
characters.
is it-
I would say it's a first-person MOBA myself.
Is it just co-op horde?
See, that's
But
what I
in
mean.
game form.
That CGI trailer, which is of course not gameplay.
What do you mean co-op horde? Horde is co-op.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, but that
But yeah, but
that
but
trailer
more
looks
co-op.
like it's
you know
got
what
a survival element to it. Or so
Yeah.
they're surrounded by minions, all like, and
What-
they're in the middle trying to survive. That's not really what a MOBA's about. You don't killing creeps or minions is a big part of it, but that's not the game. Like that's not you're rarely under threat from them.
I haven't read enough to understand how the course of a match
I don't
takes
think-
place.
I
do
But
you
don't
know what
there's
I mean?
no
But,
traditional single player, correct?
Oh, no, well, no,
there is a
they are-
campaign.
yeah, which is
But it'll be a campaign like Dota's campaign. Or
I don't
something
know
like
what
that.
that
well,
means.
Dota doesn't have a campaign.
It'd be like
MOBAs
Unreal
in general
Tournaments
haven't done
campaign.
single player before, which is interesting. And this is interesting because it's
But it's
first
going to be.
person and is doing something
But
different.
it'll be a single player like Titanfall had a single player, right? It doesn't
I would
really have a
presume
single player.
so,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not real
The
single player.
focus, you'd imagine the focus has to be on the multiplayer stuff. Or like Brink did it, I guess. That was kind of tied it into the
But yeah, I was reading a little bit
campaign and multiplayer.
of Game Informer's article this morning.
Mhm.
It's got screenshots in there. It looks quite nice. It's sort of, it looks a little like Borderlands.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad
Um,
thing at all. I quite liked the character design too. The robot gentleman.
It looks alright.
He looks cool.
And you know what? If they get it right, I actually think they could have something that ends up being a lot bigger than Borderlands.
No, I agree. I think the recipe is there. My problem is I don't like this big shift away from single player stuff. Because right now,
that's where it's going, isn't it?
I get it, but I don't want that to die entirely. A game like this could easily have a nice campaign with a story, 6 hours long or something. And it annoys me that it doesn't. That's the kind of thing I'd rather it had.
We're going through that kind of MMO thing of a lot of people are trying to compete with MOBAs. I'm glad this one is doing something different with that formula. It's not just another kind of the same setup as Dota and LoL. Because I think it's too late to try and recreate that setup.
Yeah.
Even with like Blizzard's, like Heroes of the Storm, isn't as exciting as I thought it might be. They've got a slightly different angle in terms of it being easier to get into, I think. But like, unless you do something different, what the hell do you do in that genre?
The thing for me is that to be honest, I've never really given MOBAs a chance, but they don't really interest me. I look at them, I watch people play them from time to time, and I think, I don't know if it's for me.
Yeah.
Whereas this,
you're already invested in the
exactly. I kind of
side of things.
Yeah, and so I'm much more prepared to give it a go.
Yeah, that's cool. Hopefully that works because I spend a hell of a lot of time playing Dota 2. I absolutely love the game. I think that's a genre that all you guys should be interested in.
No, I've told you, Braz, about my experience with
when you embarrass yourself.
When I embarrassed myself at E3 on I can't remember what it's called, Arena of Fate or something like that, and walked in and I was like, all right, it's a MOBA.
Okay, you can do this.
I got this. As I was thrown headfirst out of my comfort zone, and I had to walk my little mage, and I was like, yeah. Hit W because
that's how you move on.
That's how you move in games. And it cast a spell. And the woman next to me just looked at me. Was like,
"This is going to be a tough one.
Would you like a hand?" I was like, "Yes, please."
So first of all, you right click to move. Ah, yes, of course.
Ah, right. It's like cannon fodder. What?
Oh,
sorry. Okay.
Oh man, I wish I'd been there.
I don't know why I've never really wanted to give them a go before because I used to love strategy games.
Because they're all full of like weird, stupid Tolkien tropes,
yeah.
aren't they? Like, and the Wizard of Asquith is here for this. Fuck off, mate. Give me a gun, man.
Well, I think
give me a gun or a football.
A lot of it
Women,
comes from
drinks, yeah?
Like Warcraft 3 is the base of so much of it, so a lot of those characters feel some of that. I guess, if you don't like the setting, it's a bit
They all do. I think the problem is, and I'm not saying this is, the problem with this genre, with all genres, is that they all feel very similar. You look at them, and apart from their names, it's like they all look exactly like the same. The same as shooters.
And
I'm not sure. If you showed me a screenshot of LoL and Dota, I don't know if I could name which.
Somebody may have made the error the other day on Twitter. Who knows?
It takes quite a lot of time until you really get a feel for what the differences are. I think, like, I was talking about this with my friend last night. Why the hell are MOBAs so popular? I absolutely love them, but they're
why did Call of Duty get so popular? It's just
I can understand the rules, how they came up with the rules in Call of Duty multiplayer. It makes sense to me. You go around, you shoot the other dudes. The more dudes you shoot, you get access to cool toys. But why do MOBAs have creeps? Why is that even a thing? Why?
What's a creep?
That's like the minions controlled by the computer that run into the middle and fight each other.
The same way that Titanfall has it, and even in my novice MOBA experience, you know that it's everything in competitive games or online games is all about the feedback loop.
And it's
as long as you're killing and progressing, you're winning.
And
so in Dota, you progress quite a lot, right?
Yes, although the start of the game is, I understand why that exists in terms of, because the start of the game is quite slow and usually you're so worried about dying that you won't kill another player for quite a bit of time. You need that feeling that you're doing something. But it's just like the rules that make up Dota 2 are so strange. It's why people find it intimidating to get into, because like the way the shop system works and the items and how you.
But they're just extrapolated out of, I presume, years and years of kind of D&D and all of that. And when you kind of draw a line back through it all, it's just another way of presenting. It's just so if you say about Warcraft, and then wasn't the original Dota like a mod or a map or something for Warcraft, and then so you can trace it all back.
And I think some of those weird systems come out of the fact that they were originally working with a limited range of tools because they were in the custom maps of Warcraft, and so that's how it started. And it kind of
it's right place, right time, isn't it? It's just one of those things where people wanted to change for some reason. Dota was that change, and also it's word of mouth. Because you didn't start playing it straight away.
No, definitely.
You started playing it because so and so was playing it, and
I-
so and so
I-
was chatting about it. You get intrigued, like, I want to play it, and you probably didn't get it at first,
Nope, you're right.
but you stick with it, and then all of a sudden it all clicks, and then that's it. You're done. You're in. But it's, you know, in 10 years' time, it's not that long. 2-3 years' time, it'll probably be like first-person shooters. We'll all be bored of that, and something else will come along. And I think the difference here is everyone is still waving that, why is games all about shooters? They're not anymore. They're about MOBAs. MOBAs have overtaken the shooter.
Yep.
You know, I mean, you name me 5 big shooters that are coming out this year.
Well,
do it.
COD, Battlefield.
Another Battlefield.
See, it's really hard, isn't it? You do MOBAs.
You had Wolfenstein.
But if you do MOBAs, there's loads. I mean, there's so many MOBAs coming out this year from big studios. Like EA's got one. Obviously, there's 2K now. That's this. Techland have got one.
Destiny.
It feels.
Well, yeah, we miss Destiny.
It
Probably
feels like
shouldn't
it's.
miss Destiny.
Sorry, Destiny.
Destiny's a MOBA.
It is. Yeah.
Do you think some of the success of things like Dota and League though come from the fact that they're free?
I think it. Yeah.
Do you think that plays a major part
The thing
in
is,
it? Because I don't think Battleborn is. I was going to say Bloodborne. Then I think Battleborn is going to be free. I get the impression it's going to full retail release.
I agree, and you're right actually, because when I was getting into it with the group of friends I play, we realised everyone was talking about it, and it was probably something we enjoyed, but we didn't know that we would. And
you never paid £30 for it.
And in fact, we were adamant that we weren't going to pay anything whilst playing it, and yet now I've started to buy the cosmetic stuff that they sell and whatever. But that took a long time until I got there. Like I'm not sure I would have paid for Dota.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. But then by the time this game comes out, will people be so established with that type of game that they would understand what it is and think, yeah, I'll give it a shot. I'll pay for it.
When's it out?
Next year sometime.
Maybe. I don't know. I think it depends what happens in the interim.
And it can work on a console, right? This is going to be something that they can sell to people like you who haven't gone into MOBAs like Dota, but want something in between.
I understand what MOBAs are.
Yeah.
And I can understand their appeal. Mm-hmm. But the ones up till now haven't necessarily grabbed me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I don't know. I'm not sure that it will be able to compete on that level. I'm not sure any.
Well, they want it to be a big
can.
esports game, don't they?
Yeah, but everyone wants their game to be a big esports game.
I can see this being big. If you look at what's out there in the first-person space in terms of being an esport, obviously you got COD, but that's about it, really, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's difficult, isn't it? I'm not.
Whereas when you combine first-person gunplay with the biggest esport genre there is, I think they've got a good chance.
Hopefully, I think I would love to see games doing new stuff within that. I'm not sure. I haven't seen enough of the game to really know, but I just get a feel that they'll get people like you interested, and people that want to play around with it for a little bit. I'm not sure. Like, to get an esport, you need such a huge community and such a passionate one. I
think they'll get it. I think as Gearbox have made their mistakes clearly, but when it comes to their own IP and investing in their own IP and making sure they're a success, I think they've proved with Borderlands that they put a lot of weight behind it, and they put a lot of effort into making sure that it gets to where it needs to be. Borderlands I don't think it was a huge success day one, but word of mouth for that game just spread incredibly quickly.
You know what? Well, actually, if we go back to the fact that it's probably not going to be free to play, that could be a good thing for it, because a lot of competitive games that go free to play make the mistake of trying to sell things to you before they've got that huge community, and that usually means they sell items that have an impact on the game because they can't afford not to, and then the competitive element is broken. So maybe the fact that they're not going to rely on that potentially could help them there.
I imagine the model will just be new modes and new characters, really.
They're still making too many games.
Well, yeah, I mean, what have they got? So
Tales from the Borderlands.
Well, they're not doing it, though, are they? It's Telltale, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
what is there involved
what's
in
this
that,
game?
actually?
Battleborn?
Yeah.
Battleborn? Is that Brothers in Arms game that isn't a Brothers
They
in Arms
say
game?
it is still being made.
So Furious 4 may still be in development. Borderlands 3, presumably there's something going on there. Maybe if it's not in...
it's got to be, right?
And
they said they were working on a new Duke Nukem game. Yeah, that's what they said.
So that's 4 at least. I mean, but
a lot of games.
They're not.
We won't see a new Duke Nukem game, I don't think. It's sold so badly.
I think we will.
Maybe.
They bought that IP for a
True,
reason, didn't they?
true, yeah, maybe. Oh well, we'll find out.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed. That sucked.
Yep.
There
That
you go.
sucked.
All right.
What do you mean?
Bad
Assassin's
games.
Creed.
First
Oh, the
Assassin's
first
Creed,
one,
yeah,
right.
that was
Back to
rubbish.
bad game.
What
First
prompted
Assassin's
that?
Creed was terrible.
Oh, you
and
going back
actually
to
4 out of
old
10
games?
bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I gave it 5 out of 10. I stand by it to this day. Terrible game.
So I've actually
All style, no substance.
Metal Gear Solid 2, terrible, like genuinely terrible.
That wasn't the first game.
Sorry?
That wasn't the first game in the series.
Really?
I thought we
Metal
were
Gear
talking
Solid 2 wasn't
we're
the
just
first Metal
talking
Gear
about-
Solid. My mind is
Oh, I thought we were
blown
talking about
David's
first
down.
games. I thought someone said that.
What were you playing, Chris? You were going to say something.
So, this
Oh,
is going to be
no.
a tough sell. I
Should
can
we
feel
keep
it.
What's this torture game you've been playing?
In your house
Well,
with
I've got
ladies
something,
at night.
that's something I want to talk about more than that, to be honest.
Right.
It's called King of Dragon Pass.
Fuck off.
What is wrong with you?
Hang on, wait. King of the Dragon Pass or just King of Dragon
King
Pass?
of Dragon Pass. So you
Pass or past?
pass. P-A-S-S.
Jesus.
God.
Pass.
Yeah.
Do not pass go.
Pass.
Right.
King of Dragon
Pass?
Pass.
Pass.
So you are obviously
Passable.
a resident of
Right.
Dragon Pass. You're
Yes.
the king of that Dragon Pass.
Well, no,
You're the
no,
boy.
and I imagine
That's
it's a
the aim.
bit like Lemmings. People are coming at you, and you got to make sure no one gets you.
no.
All right,
not
onwards
quite.
we get. What else is terrible
So
games?
right, I'll do this quickly. It's not going to take long, I promise. Right? It sounds like a game that was made in the 90s, right? With a name like that, King of Dragon Pass is perhaps not the best name. It's because it was a game made in the 90s that has since come to iOS, and it's like one of the best games I'm playing at the moment. Half of it's so you have a clan, and it's like almost a Nordic clan that you're in Dragon Pass. You want to be the king. It's kind of in the name.
He knows that none of us are interested. You
Yeah,
can see it in
this
his
is for
face.
this is for people listening.
Yeah.
This is for people listening.
This
I
is a
know.
podcast, Dave. It's for people outside of these walls.
No one
this goes onto
listens.
the
But we're
internet.
meant to have an interactive discussion.
I know, but it wouldn't be that difficult for you guys to try and.
I'm going to
just show
try.
some interest.
You're not talking about it.
Carry on.
Yeah,
Just-
we're
I'm
trying to.
commenting on the
Can't.
look on your face, not how we're actually feeling.
Okay, so half of it's just a management game. You look after your clan. You trade
Yeah,
and go to war
promote
with other
them.
clans in the Dragon Pass. You
Yeah,
want to be the
sign
king.
off on holiday.
Main currency
P45s.
is cows. Like seriously, you everything in that game. You sacrifice to the gods. You do it with cows. You want to trade some shit. You do it with cows.
Right,
You want to go to war with people. You steal their cows.
right.
Main currency. It works. But so that's the game.
Cows?
Yeah.
Well, Dave, in ye olden days, as the editor of The Independent said in the opening letter of GQ this month, agriculture was the key to wealth.
Yeah, and that is pretty much to be the king of Dragon Pass. You must control the cows. But the other half of the game is
Look, man, I wasn't there. Don't put it on me.
It was the past, man.
Yeah,
It was
it was
weird.
the past
The
past.
Dragon's Pass.
Fuck you, I hate you all.
Dragons Pass is another country. They
Nice.
do is a foreign country. They do things different. There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
So what is the game?
So half of it's management game, right?
P45s,
that sounds,
holidays.
That sounds
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
normal. But the other half is a choose your own adventure. So almost every decision that you make in the game, if you go to war or if you interact with other clans,
Can the choice be to play a better game?
yes, but it is a very, very good game. I
Right.
really enjoy
What does it have an executable for like Doom in there or
Yeah,
something?
it's just like, okay, come on. But yeah, the decisions you're offered as in all the great kind of games that feature your own choices, they're not usually like black and white. You can usually mess things up terribly. And so you have to elect a council out of the promising members in your clan, and they all advise you, but they're all after their own priorities at heart, and so you have to try and figure out if they're trying
Watch
to
the
screw
throne,
you over.
yeah.
And it's incredible. Like the
Incredible.
writing in it is brilliant for a game that's that old. It feels so fresh. Like
When
I
did
never
it
played
come
a game
out?
like it. 1999 on the
1999
PC, the personal computer.
on the personal computer.
But now, yeah,
IBM compatible.
it's now I play it on an iPhone with a tiny little screen, which usually like those kind of games, management stuff. It would
What
be really
rating
difficult.
is it?
I don't know, to be honest.
Is it an adult game?
It's definitely like that. Yes,
It
like,
has adult.
Oh, I
themes.
know why you like this fucking game. I've just looked
Why?
it up. The first screenshot is a horse fighting a fucking dragon.
Well,
those are my two favorite things in this
Is
world.
the horse wearing a cape?
Or is that a stegosaurus?
So there are fantastical
dinosaurs in
creatures. There are
Stegosaurus
dragons.
isn't a fantastical
Right,
creature.
I was
What
talking about
is
the
this?
dragons.
Oh.
Look at this game. This is the weirdest looking game. It looks like it came out in like 1923.
I hope.
It's an old game.
All right, Braz, now I think you're watching this for porn or something.
Can we flash this
what
up
are
on
you talking
YouTube?
about?
Like horse porn.
No, it's. I will put a picture of it up, yes, because I feel I need to defend my honour, as is
I'm
often
not
the case
sure.
in Dragon's Pass.
A huge troll seeks permission to enter your Tula as a guest.
Mm-hmm.
You, soft skin, think you mighty like troll?
Yep.
I, Umguluk, daughter of Umkator, make challenge to you
Oh.
if you have mighty
I
champion.
haven't seen this.
Spoiler.
Okay.
Then she smashed a nearby boulder into shards with her mace. Your weapons eye each
Okay,
other
so
uneasily.
immediately I'm looking
No,
at
the
my
writing is good,
I'm looking
you're
at my
right.
council, seeing fuck off which members are my best fighters. This is a troll though. Surely it's going to be pretty tough. What are my options, Simon?
Oh,
Walk
hang
me
on.
through them.
My options are
Can I sacrifice a
accept
cow?
her challenge or Accept the challenge if she wagers something valuable. But
Sure,
Havar says, I'm not sure what we gain by fighting her.
Yeah, so that's what you do. You ask each of the members of your clan ring, the council, like what they think you should do, and then you go with whichever seems to be popular and regret it almost immediately.
Aroka had great powers. Its eyes could paralyze any intelligent thing. Its tongue could choke any
Not
physical
Braz, then.
thing. And its breath could destroy any spirit.
Why are you being like this?
All I did was read.
You've all got smirks on your faces.
No, I literally read what was on the advert on the App Store.
So,
I'm
okay.
sure it's wonderful. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
The interesting writing comes into it in how it handles the lore in that game. So you have your clan members, your heroes can go on these big quests, and they're always framed around something that's happened in your clan's history.
Yeah.
So you have to read up on what the stories
So
of
it's
your
a
gods,
homework simulator.
and then
Man.
reenact their actions as closely as you can, and by doing that you'll be rewarded. But it's usually pretty difficult. I think
I'm out.
I think it's a really interesting game. No, I haven't seen anything like it.
Is it free?
Considering how old it is. No, it's a premium iOS game actually. It's
69p.
£5.
$4.99.
Actually,
£5.40 something.
$6.99. Actually, $6.99.
Oh, is that on the
£7
iOS
English
store?
pounds.
Weird, I didn't pay that much. I
Oh,
don't think
Brad
it
has
was last
jailbroken
week.
his phone.
Oh,
Shit.
Bratters, you naughty little bean.
So yeah, there we are. Old games that can be good.
The price.
Is that a new
Yes.
segment?
Yes.
Old games
With
that
your
can be
host.
good in 2014.
Al
It's not a very
Drain.
catchy title.
Aldrain says the price could easily have been twice as high, and I'd still buy it.
Why would you ever say that? I'm annoyed that I didn't
I
pay
bought
more
this game
for this
twice.
wonderful game. Well,
There
there we
you
go.
go.
Well, thank you for telling us about that, Christopher. I feel like my
Some
life
people
is
will
being
love
enriched.
it.
I love it. I think it's tremendous.
Wonderful.
There we go.
Excellent.
Okay, I haven't been playing anything else, so I don't know if we'll come to an impasse now. A dragon's pass,
I've
if
been
you
writing
will.
about stuff. We can talk about that, Miller, because you'll like
wanna-
it.
I'm interested
Whoa!
in this torture game.
Whoa! What torture
We'll
game?
come back to that. We'll come back.
Why
to
do we
it.
have to come back to
Because
it?
Burns is just about to talk about something. And I don't want to cut him off.
No,
Go on, get
no,
on
I
with it.
want to hear about the torture game now.
Come on, torture game it is.
Okay, so this is the other game I've been.
So
playing.
last night I went home and I got my apparatus out and I thought, right, who wants to be tortured?
I'm not. That's not what I was going to say. I've been playing a game called Gods Will Be Watching, which is.
Oh, that's not a torture game.
Well, it was when I was watching him
But
play it.
actually, it depends on which chapter you play. So that's it's a point and click game where you try and it's like point and click survival, I guess you'd call it. I don't really know what genre best.
It looked like
describes
Day of the Tentacle,
and
but
it's,
very violent.
yeah, it's really really difficult. So
Is it still got that thing where you're stuck in a single screen?
yes, or every
That's why I don't like- I want to be
chapter
able to walk and.
you can move around a little bit, but every chapter
Day
takes
of the
place
Tentacle,
in a
you
screen.
could explore the house and stuff like that. Like.
Yeah, and to be honest, like I think some people are really going to like it. I do, but I think some people are going to be turned off by the fact that yes, there's 6 chapters, 6 levels in the game. Each of them take place pretty much on a single screen,
Yeah.
and because of the nature of the game, you'll end up repeating those levels. You have to retry them. I think on average, I've had to restart about 5 or 6 times per level, which in most of them it is all right. Like the level we played for that Something for the Weekend video, it hasn't got too much dialogue to worry about. So it's all about you go straight back to
Yeah.
those choices.
Never got
However,
depressed.
that second chapter, which you were talking about, has like a kind of torture scene in it, where you're trying to survive for as long as you can, and that particular chapter is so dialogue heavy, which is fine the first time, and the dialogue's really good, and the relationship between you and the torturer is great to watch like unfold. But the moment you restart it and you start to see the same things repeated again, it gets a little bit old. The sixth time you do it, it's frustrating.
I think that's the problem as well because I call them static screens, and it means you know what I mean though. You don't shift them. That's the problem. Like if you get stuck on Day of the Tentacle, using the example that's brought up, you walk around and you click stuff, and you know.
I didn't realise it wasn't like that.
Yeah,
But
but
he hasn't
it's
explained this to me very well.
It's less cabin fevery because there's always something to go and look at, and eventually you're stunned. But this one, it is a case of almost like a Where's Wally kind of thing, like staring at the screen and trying to think, well, what haven't I done? What have I done?
And don't get me wrong, I think that second chapter is probably the worst example of that. But
Is that the one we played?
No, the others, because it's not a focus on the dialogue. I think it manages that fine, but it's like the game is designed to have that you're going to have to restart that level and figure out how the systems work. And
Is it trial and error?
Yes,
Yeah.
to start with, and then you figure out what's going on, and then you realise that even though you understand how it works, that it's still really difficult to find enough time to do everything that you want.
Yeah.
So in the example we played, you are stranded on a planet and you need to keep your group alive whilst also fixing a radio in time, which sounds simple enough, but to keep the group alive, you've got to go out and chop wood for your fire, keep the fire going, light it if it goes out. That's 3 actions, and you can only do like a certain amount per day anyway. Then you've got to cook
Kill
the
the
food,
dog.
possibly kill the dog.
Kill the dog?
Yeah.
That's all Brad's talked about when he showed it me. that you
Now,
can kill the
humans
dog.
go first.
That is
So
the
is
worst
there
in my
any,
world.
is
Humans
there any
go
logic
first.
to this game? And so that obviously the first bit, you've said you need to go out and cut the wood down, and I guess you'd think of that.
Mm-hmm.
But are there scenarios that are so stupid that you'd never think of, but you end up having to replay that chapter?
No, I think it. Although you feel like you haven't got enough time, whenever you lose, you generally feel like it's your fault. Like the systems do make sense, and they
That's what I was trying to work out.
No, it's definitely fair, but
To be fair, though,
tough.
point-and-click games from the past weren't fair. Some of the stuff you
no,
had
but
to
they
come
never
up
had
with
fail
was...
states, did they?
No,
they
that's
never,
true, you're
you
right,
never had
that's
to
true.
replay.
No, that's
No,
true.
this will be like, so you usually you'll lose a level because you've just for a moment forgotten about one of the things you're supposed to be looking after. So you'll have just let the food supply go down, or you'll have run out of bullets or something like that, and you won't quite realise, and then it happens because you were focused on everything else, and then you go, oh shit, that's my fault, and you'll start again.
So you have to eat the dog?
You can, I don't think you can eat the dog, but you can kill the
Yeah,
dog.
you
So-
do. You get the meat.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, you got the meat when you killed
Right,
him.
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Is this a family dog?
it's got a
You-
close connection to your character.
This is the most controversial game ever made.
Your trade-off is basically you kill the dog, you get some meat
and,
to feed people,
and the
but
fact that the dog is eating
yeah,
food,
meat.
so
But
you'll
the dog,
have more
if you
food
kill the
around.
dog, other people get depressed and they may kill themselves.
And also, the dog can go out hunting on its own, and it does provide a small
Yeah, I'd
advantage.
kill the people before I kill my dog.
I agree. That dog's really cool.
Because, like, people are scum. Like, dogs are the best thing on this planet,
Yeah,
apart from Manchester United Football Club. And if I could populate Man United Football Club
With dogs.
with hyper intelligent football playing dogs, then everything would be right.
Right, we got to move on to something else now.
Play that
This
game.
conversation has gone completely off the wire.
Oh, yeah, there's a video with playing through the first chapter on that. So if you are interested, I think it's lovely, and it's got that like sword and sorcery. How do you say that? The Super
Sword and
Brothers game.
sorcery?
How do you say
Sorcery.
Super Brothers? The
Super Mario
subtitle
Brothers?
of that game.
Do you mean sorcery?
No, it's swords and sorcery, but with a W after the S.
It's sorcery.
Sorcery. Swords and
He's
don't know
sorcery.
what-
look at him
what is-
grinning.
what is he
He's so
talking
happy
about?
that he's got a word that he doesn't
Are you
get.
okay?
Yeah,
Do you-
not really.
I don't
It's
think
very
you are.
Brad, your
linear.
hair is well, like, big today. Well big.
It's got
I
volume
like
in
it.
it.
Thanks. I need.
You
Total
look like in a
Robert
Vidal
Patterson.
Sassoon
I was trying to go for a
commercial.
haircut last night, but I couldn't get there in time.
He tried to go for
Well, hold
it,
on, was
throwing his way
this
away
the stage in the
scissors.
game?
Yeah.
You have to kill the dog because you can't get a haircut.
Have we got anything else to talk about game wise?
Cliffy B's new thing?
What can we say? I mean, here's the thing with Cliffy B's new game. It's a PC free-to-play arena shooter, so it's free-to-play Unreal Tournament. I think you can probably sum it up. Now, Cliffy B makes good games.
Aren't they making a free-to-play Unreal Tournament?
Well, I thought they were, yeah. The crowd...
It's called Unreal Tournament.
Yeah, by that I mean like it's in like an arena shooter, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that means Unreal Tournament. That's an arena shooter,
Yeah.
right? I think
Yeah.
it's fair to say. But the thing is, Cliffy B does make good games. I think my only problem with this is it sounds like he's making the game he's already made before. I'd much rather he'd come out with something left field and stuff. But yeah, we haven't seen anything. We've seen a
No.
tweet.
Yeah.
So I think Cliffy B's got a very good track record.
Then again-
And regardless of what you say about him, I think at the moment you should probably bet that it'll be pretty good, to be honest.
Other than that upcoming Unreal Tournament that is got a crazy development idea, and we don't know how that will end up looking. There aren't that many classic shooters to play right now.
No,
are there, in
and
that
I think,
sense?
honestly,
so there
if
isn't room for it.
if they could come up with a free-to-play model that doesn't suck,
Yeah.
I'd be quite happy to play a free-to-play, jump in and out every couple of weeks or something. And like I say, his track record's very good. Well, to me anyway, I like all his games. So
My favourite part about that announcement was the fact that one of his tweets was, "No, we're not going to release a CGI trailer because that's not what we're all about." After Gearbox
they're doing
had
some
just
they're doing
released
some
a CGI trailer.
real-time development thing as well, so you can watch them making it in real time.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how much interest I have in that, but I guess if you're into that kind of thing,
I'm
it's
not.
pretty good.
I see.
What
I'm
does
not.
that mean?
I'm not
Like
into
weekly
that.
updates or
No.
actual
No, no, no.
cameras in rooms?
Vlambeer do it, don't they? They live stream their development and
Right.
talk to the people.
I
whilst
see
they're
that.
doing it.
That to me is like obviously Vlambeer make good games, but if I was making a game, I'd be like, fuck off.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like, can you imagine in Hollywood where it's like, yeah, just come in and film me filming the fucking this
Yeah.
scene. It's like, nah, probably not.
Yeah, but Brands doesn't like people standing around his desk when he edits
We
videos.
find it tricky
He has a
enough when-
breakdown.
Yeah,
No,
we- yeah.
you find it tricky.
Would you like to look
Yeah.
over my shoulder while I write this review? And then, oh no, backspace. Oh, what am I saying here?
It is bad
Oh.
when PRs do it
Didn't,
when you try to play games.
The editor of Polygon live stream writing a news story recently, so that does happen.
That
That is a
can
thing that happens now.
fuck off.
Yeah, that was terrible. Let's all go on record now. That was terrible. What are you doing?
I didn't see it. I don't
Hi,
know, I don't know,
I'm writing a
Just to
news
say,
story.
someone from Polygon thought
It's
they'd.
Brian Crescenti, wasn't it?
I wasn't going to say his name, but
Oh,
yes.
right.
He live streamed, so you could just watch him write. I
Yeah.
mean, what are you doing?
Well, I guess if you want to be a news writer, it's interesting to see the thought process.
No,
the
it's-
same
Yeah,
with
but, no,
Columbia,
but his
People
process.
find that boring
The
unless you
process
want
would change. The
games.
natural act of putting a camera on someone would change.
Yeah,
it very-
exactly. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not.
If you put a camera on me, for example, I probably wouldn't just be on Twitter making jokes about dogs playing for Manchester United Football Club or reading The Guardian for 6 to 7 hours a day. I'd probably be writing words.
Mhm.
But
That's, shit, we need to put a camera on Stephen Burns immediately.
We need to make that happen now.
But I know what you mean. Like I
Fuck's sake.
I'm only joking, guys. It's like 2 hours at best.
I wonder if that does.
Esquire.
Yeah,
Does
2
that
hours
have, like,
Guardian,
the rest
2
of
hours
it?
Esquire. I'm going home.
I wonder if that does have a detriment on developing.
What, Esquire? I mean, yeah.
Not
I don't think
the
it
live stream.
would, I don't think it will affect anything because I think it will be. Although they say live, it will be consciously thought out to the point it's not affecting anything. in
With
the game.
Lambia, they take suggestions from the Twitch chat and try putting them into the game. Like they actually actively engage
Oh,
with
we'll
the
see.
people watching.
We'll see. I guess maybe some
I-
people,
I-
maybe it doesn't affect people as other. I like you, Chris.
Yeah,
Who
I'd
will
be like, oh God, go away!
It literally
Stop
goes
watching
into
me.
a shell if anyone comes to stand behind his desk when he's editing something.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's all the games. Nothing else has been announced, has it? Oh, but Gears of War may have coal in it, but apparently not.
Well,
Lester Spate comes out and says, "Have you got a call about the new Gear game?" He says, "Yep." Then goes, "I never said that." You did. So of course he'll be in it. You can easily get peripheral characters back into that game.
I've been doing some research this week, Bratters.
Excellent. Hello there, dear listener. Quick apology here. We've had to cut something out of the podcast, and I'm going to hand you over to David Scammell, who has a few words as to why that might be the case.
Well, look, I mean, I crossed the line, and I'd like to offer a deep, heartfelt apology to Christopher Bratters and his sister.
Don't, God damn it, you're not supposed to name it. Right, you do that.
Just go along with that and just bleep it.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And I feel incredibly bad, and I should keep work and personal matters to myself.
Thank you, David. And now back to the Video Gamer UK podcast.
Can't we just make the whole podcast about your family and your horse and stuff like that?
I'm going to cut you off there.
I'm from Cambridgeshire. I'm going to call my people in now. And
if I get any
and find
CCTV footage of you in Cambridge, you're in so much trouble.
Yeah.
You piece of-
This whole thing is only funny to us. Right.
Yeah, maybe we should just cut this whole bit.
No,
Possibly,
keep
but-
it in,
No,
but
just bleep-
bleep out
bleep
all
the
the
hell
That
out
makes
of
no
it.
sense.
Yeah, but neither did the thing we
Do
put
we
up
need to
yesterday
explain
about
why we've brought this
game
up?
addictives.
What? But that
No,
explain
no,
it,
no.
it's not
Let's
funny.
go to questions.
Yeah.
Let's go to questions.
Go questions.
All right, thanks.
Wonderful.
Cheers for that, Dave.
That's
Nice
all right.
one.
Wasn't
Okay.
actually me, it was Tom.
I've got a question.
Fucking hell,
I've got a question.
Yep.
Is gaming as addictive as heroin?
Asks the Sun.
Ask me, Simon.
No,
Hang on,
I
I've
don't
got-
think they asked. I think they just
I've
stated.
got another-
Oh, yeah. Gaming
issue.
as addictive as heroin.
I've got another issue to raise here
Yep.
regarding the questions. If you've ever sat at home and thought, Christopher Bratters is a wonderfully knowledgeable man,
Mm-hmm.
when the rest of the podcast
I often sit at home
team...
thinking
What's
that.
because he reads them and we don't see
Hang
them?
on, the rest of the podcast team don't really seem to know what they're talking about. They kind of stumble and mumble over their words
Speak
about...
for yourself,
what
man.
they're saying.
Mumble. Yeah, Burns is usually on point.
Can I just point out, what I discovered this morning was Bratters reads all the questions
Yeah,
that
oh,
you
yes.
guys send in
But I
and
put some
reads off a
notes
script.
next to
So
it.
when he
That's not a
asks,
script.
when he asks us, here's a question, guys, and
You
we
do,
sit here
Chris.
going, well, blah, blah, blah. And Bratters comes out and goes, well, I think this and this and this and this and this. It's because you have a
Right,
pre-prepared
okay.
script.
Yeah, but the host
Allow
has
me
to
to
be
retort.
prepared.
One, it's preparation. That's just what we do here, man. And two, I gave
Right.
you the questions to look at today, and you looked at them for
Let-
5 minutes.
Yeah, I looked
said
at them today
they're-
'cause I asked.
Said they're shit, and then walked off.
Let
All right,
me intervene.
David Scammell.
Let me retort, Christopher Bratt. You and the word prepared have never gone together, so
It was
do
pre-
not try
it
and
was
introduce
preparation,
it now.
not prepared. Jesus. Yeah.
Right,
I
My
just
point
I
remains.
write
Question
some notes
one.
next to the questions. I thought that's just
The
good practice.
situation in Syria. Well, let me answer that one.
So, right.
We
okay.
never know what the questions are. Just fire them away.
I've showed them to you. Do you want to talk about gaming as addictive as heroin? Some
No.
article yesterday.
I
Well,
don't.
I think all I would say is
No.
if you're focusing on that sensationalist headline,
Mhm.
there's a much wider problem you need to tackle.
Yeah.
Gaming, there's games as a scapegoat. Lots of things are scapegoats
Yep.
because they're easy.
I
And
think-
that's what it is, really.
I'm not sure addictive is the right word to use. That's a
Anything's
discussion to have.
addictive.
Heroin, course isn't the fucking right word to use. It's so what a shitty headline.
Well, yeah, I mean it's ridiculous, but anything can be addictive depending on your
comparing
state.
To heroin addiction, though, of all things.
Heroin addiction is a lot worse.
It's an embarrassment. It really is.
It's if you're going to start having that debate, as some people did. You can't really focus on just games. You need to. There's lots of things people take pot shots at.
I feel like we've done this so many times. The Sun writes something controversial. We say it's stupid.
It's not going to stop.
Yeah.
So
because people are talking about that story, which we would have ignored.
Is it not actually disrespectful to actually heroin addicts who are suffering through it?
Of course
hugely,
it is.
Absolutely hugely.
And let's say there is somebody out there that's addicted to games, physically addicted to it, and there's a problem. It's not gaming's fault, and they need help. So you shouldn't sensationalise it.
That isn't a topic that should be kind of ignored. The fact that it's just being... I think it's damaging to that topic, really.
But again, if we're talking about this, newspapers make things up. They make things up. That's a good story. So it's not a problem. It's a much bigger problem. And we are not in a place to either give the answer or comment on it. But the sympathy and the focus should always be on the person at hand. If somebody's got a problem, they need help. You shouldn't sensationalise that. Questions?
I think people... Very quickly, I think people blur the lines between hobby and addict as well.
Yeah.
And I think, my mum would call me an addict to games, but that's probably because I play games for about 5 hours a week these days.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
You could just say, look, you're addicted to being my mum.
Yeah.
Yeah, just doing that all the time.
All the freaking time.
All the time.
So,
yeah. See, there you go.
You play games for only 5 hours per week,
No,
David.
I probably play them about 5 hours a day.
That is absolute nonsense. Tycum on Twitter.
Hello, Tycum.
When will the MOBAs end? Except for Dota and League, they can stay.
Kind of chat about that.
Yeah. Well, when will they end?
It'll be like first-person shooters.
5 years time.
Yeah,
5 years time.
There'll be
2019.
It was platformers for a time. Then MMOs kind of stuck their aura in. Then first-person shooters, MOBAs are next.
Yeah,
few years.
Everything will saturate and then it'll die.
Exactly, as always.
The Dota International just raised all the money
Which is fine at the moment.
So what?
I guess before this it was StarCraft 2, right? StarCraft 2 was a huge deal in the esports scene, and it feels like that.
It wasn't that long ago.
Braz, look, get on with the rest of the questions. I've got a pulled pork sandwich to eat. Okay.
All right. Okay. Reg Foxworth. Now they're being regularly courted by Microsoft and Sony. Are indie games becoming too commercial?
Well, what is an indie game? Because I've said this for a long time.
Yeah, what does it mean anymore? Surely, unless you're an independent studio, it's not an indie game.
Journey was an indie game funded by Sony.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
So it's not an indie game.
I don't think it matters that much either. I don't think that I think people get hung up on that definition all the time.
I just think if you enjoy a game, just enjoy it. Don't worry about it.
And also, like, being too commercial, I don't know why that would be a bad thing. The fact that Journey was pushed by
because I guess
consoles,
eventually they get too big for their boots, and what start off as mini sort of passion projects have become big money makers.
Other games will fill those positions.
This comes into the whole "you sold out" angle. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. Everybody would sell out to a certain degree.
Yeah, Henry Rollins actually has a very good piece on this on YouTube about selling out. I'm not going to repeat it here. Just Rollins YouTube selling out.
But it's like, when Mick Foley joined WWE, everyone said, you've sold out. No, he didn't. He's gone to the big players and he's earning more money to do what he does. It's not selling out. It's progressing.
I think like the only real problem here is that maybe Microsoft and Sony are relying on them a little bit too much at the moment, but that's because they haven't got anything else to show off. I think Microsoft...
Yeah, but I don't see...
What games are you playing on your Xbox One right now?
Not having an Xbox One?
Exactly.
But why is that bad for the developer? It means they've got
a
powerful and financially secure company helping them make their games.
Everybody
would want that.
More people are probably playing their games. Like the fact that Towerfall is available on the PlayStation 4...
Tried that last night.
It's not a bad thing. It's incredible. It suits the console really,
Which
really
one's
well.
Towerfall?
It's
the one we played.
Yes, you beat me at it then on a live stream. And I was really
classic game. I like that.
I panicked. See, this is why we shouldn't live stream game development.
Is this like when
panic?
Yeah,
when you got mugged off at Mario Kart and Nidhogg and every other thing that I played you at?
Thanks.
You are not a big game player, are you? You just can't do it.
No, you're not. You choke.
I am the Didier Drogba.
Yeah,
you're a better Baggio 94.
If we did it, if we played Towerfall in the office, just no cameras on, no kind of pressure.
Yeah, but that's like saying, I can take the penalties well in training.
Yeah.
No one cares.
Exactly.
You can't stick them away in the game. You're dead. You know one now.
That is, I am no one now.
So yeah, indie games, I think it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Too commercial.
Next.
Nile Pudding.
Nile Pudding.
asks... actually, no, we'll go to that one in a sec. But first we'll go from Ross McMahon.
McMahon.
Just McMahon.
Can anyone on the team recommend any worthwhile non-fiction books about games? I think that was what you were going to talk about before.
The GTA 5 strategy guide.
Actually, not a bad shout. Yeah, I've got some books.
Final Fantasy Strategy Guys got some lovely artwork in.
What is
The Death of WCW.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
The Making of Half-Life 2. I can't remember what that was. That was a good book.
Excellent.
There's two.
Mm-hmm.
Masters of Doom, obviously, by David Kushner, which is incredible.
Is that the development or?
Yeah, it's about id and how they kind of got started and how they made Doom and then how they went their separate ways. There's some amazing anecdotes in there about how id or Carmack and his boys made.
Carmack and his boys.
They
that
made,
should have been the name.
Well, but it had like a real start-up feel, and they were in their kind of early 20s and. They loved metal and stuff like that, and they made a version. They just straight up made a version of Super Mario Brothers 3 for PC and took it to Nintendo. Went, you don't have to. We've made it, and they were like, nah. We were like, but why wouldn't you license this? They're like, because we didn't make it. And stuff like when Romero went off to form Iron Storm, and he bought this space on the top floor, like penthouse. In like downtown Dallas or something.
Nice.
And it had loads of light coming in through the ceilings.
Yep.
And he was like, oh, this is where we're going to...
This is where
but then he realised that no one could see their screens, so they had to put loads of bin bags over the top. And
block out the lights.
Yeah.
We're trying to make video games here.
Pretty much. And stuff, and how it kind of not fell apart, but the creative differences that drove the two Johns apart. That's really good. And as I said it a few times before, Xbox 360 Uncloaked, which is about every single step of the process of making and designing and iterating the Xbox 360, which is also really good.
I'm surprised.
By Dean Takahashi.
Like, isn't that? I'm surprised, like, how truthful people would be about that. That it seems like quite a closely guarded secret. The development of the Xbox 360. How much do people talk?
Well, if you have people that were there, like Ed Fries or Fries, I'm not sure on the pronunciation of his name. He was like the head of games on Xbox. He would have left. Seamus Blackley, who helped design the original, they'd have all left.
Okay, right.
All the other guys who
They're
were,
not with Microsoft
and
anymore.
also the external teams that designed the look of the Xbox, they'll talk, and there's great stuff in there about how about Halo 2 was originally all of the content from Halo 3 as well, and about how they had to split it right at the very last minute, which is why Halo 2 ends really badly, and so about how all the decisions that get made in making a console come together. And it's fascinating for how a billion-dollar company can get things so right and so very wrong.
David Scammell, there's an example of a man that didn't have to be told the question beforehand and has come very wonderfully prepared to this podcast.
There are some really good questions on being
Stephen
asked
Burns.
here.
Yeah, well, I
Thank
love
you very
Dave.
much.
Ask him. We've answered that question. Go nuts.
Huh?
All right, Dave,
Ask
this is
him.
your chance. This is your moment.
I haven't got a question. Right? Really good questions coming in.
Yeah, go on.
Ask him.
for it.
This is real time. This is like Cliffy B. Real time podcasting.
Right. So he hasn't phrased this way, but
He hasn't
Paraphrase.
actually
all
asked
right. I'll phrase the way I did.
No, paraphrase it.
I like the look of Trying to and Towerfall, but thought they'd end up on PlayStation Plus, so I didn't buy them. They did. This is a problem. Yes.
What, the fact that...
The fact
He's
that
waiting
there
until
are
they get on
games that you
PlayStation
would
Plus.
like to play, you'd like to buy,
but
you'd like to support, but you're not because
Because why? Why won't he buy?
Because they're on PlayStation.
because they're going to be free eventually.
So it's the Steam sale problem.
Well, I guess, yeah.
Oh right, so it's not because they're on PlayStation.
I've got this at the moment, right? I started playing Power Star Golf on Xbox One, which is actually quite good. And I started thinking, well, no, it's blatantly going to be one of those games with gold in like 3 months. So why would I spend 16 quid on it?
I tell you why. Because you're paying for the privilege of playing it now.
Uh-huh.
So if you're happy to wait till it's free, then the
There's
price
no
you are
guarantee it
paying.
ever will be free.
What I mean is the price you are paying is time. That's the price you pay. If this dude wants these games, he wants them now. Paying it, one of the things you're getting in your cost is you got it right now.
Yeah, but once you do that once or twice or however many times, you will then feel burned and you'll be like, well, I'm not going to buy anything.
Not at
That's
all.
your call.
That's your call. Yeah, this is the DLC argument. If
I
you
think that's
don't
how
like
I'd
it,
feel,
don't
though.
buy it.
I think if I
fine.
felt I'm paying 40 quid a year for PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live, but part of the benefit of that is these free games, and I'm then paying an
Then
additional...
you wait.
No, I know, but there's no guarantee they're actually going to come. Do you know what I mean?
Well, then you like everything, Dave.
It's all
It's
a
like
big-
saying I could cross this road, but I might die. But I want to get to the other side.
Yeah, you got to decide how
You gotta-
much do you want
it's
to
like
play
when-
right
It's
Cool,
like when
Dave.
you play King of Dragon Pass. You have to make a decision. It's not necessarily going to be the right one, but it's your decision.
What a load of
to make.
bollocks.
I do think it is a problem though.
Your stupid face.
I think it's a perception problem.
No.
More than, like, it's your money, spend it how you want.
Imagine
Yeah.
how pissed off you'd be as well if you bought a game.
Well, no,
say-
because that's why when you make the decision to buy it, you've got to be sure in yourself.
But
Therefore, it doesn't
this
matter.
wasn't a problem 2 years ago.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
But
Like,
it was a problem with discounting all the time.
I think the Steam sale amplifies
I know, but there's a
that lot
difference
as well.
between, let's take Pastel Golf. I could pick it up for £16 tonight,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
and tomorrow Microsoft announces it's free next week.
You're cool.
Yeah, but it's still like,
then
fuck
wait.
that. Why would I ever buy a digital game ever again?
Well, I mean,
because you want to play it.
this is how money works, Dave.
Yeah.
You make a decision based upon the facts available to you at the time, and you either then don't do it again if you get burned, in your own words, or you argue for more transparency in what is going to be available when. You,
it just
but you
feels-
don't just moan about
It just feels weird because, like, look, I pre-order loads of shit and I pay full price to have that game on release day. Do you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
But I do that knowing that game is probably not going to be free, and if it is, it will probably be 18 months down the line or whatever. Whereas a digital game, a game like Guacamelee was free the day it came out on Xbox. You know, there's nothing you can really base your.
Exactly, and so then you just have to go with what you've got, and that is,
Yeah,
I've got money in my pocket.
It's like when you go to Sainsbury's at lunchtime.
Oh
right?
no, he's already done
there's-
one bad analogy.
There's the
This is actually quite a good debate.
you go no, this is true. You go over to the cookie section.
Oh, it's
What?
The
The
cookie
what?
section. And there's
YouTube channel.
There's two different types of cookies you go for. You can go for the basic ones, or you can go premium.
This is nothing
Sainsbury's
like
tastes the
it.
difference, right? Sainsbury's tastes the different cookies.
This is not the same,
or
Brett. as you-
£1.60 on a normal day. However, the next day you go in, they might be £1, and so you've got to
That
make a
is-
decision.
Yeah,
Right.
but
I
that
want
probably
to buy
tastes like
this
shit.
now.
What?
That is not the same. That is the eroding
No,
of
it's-
food. That is a completely different argument.
No, it's not old cookies.
Oh, you say they might be on a promotion, they might be
the normal
reduced.
ones.
And they regularly have a promotion.
That's not the same.
And so I never trust myself to buy.
Yeah, we're talking about big money here. We're not talking about £1 cookies.
It's the same
We're
kind of
talking
percentage.
about
We're talking about 18 quid here.
we're talking
So
about 20 quid
disparaging
game.
cookies.
Cookies. It's the same kind of percentage.
Look, it really does to me always come down to you as
Yeah,
the
100%
consumer.
to 0%.
You as a consumer have to make the decision. Do you want to spend the cash? If you've made the choice to spend the cash, then whatever happens after that point, you can't moan about.
you're a fucking-
You've made
feel
the
pissed
decision.
off.
No, but
though,
you're an
can't you?
adult.
Yes
like,
and no.
Fuck my
I get where you're
life.
coming from, but I think if you had the privilege of playing it the night before and you paid a premium to do that, then regardless what happens from that point onwards, don't worry about
and
it.
that's fine if you're aware going in. This game will be free tomorrow, but I'm paying it now for the
Yeah,
benefit.
but
of-
you can't. That's like saying.
What's the
So you would like
solution?
what, a week's heads up or something like
It's
that?
not like, say, a pay-per-view type thing where you think, well, it's probably be on the internet tomorrow, but I'd like to watch it at the time. Like, that's the premium you pay to watch it then and there. Whereas with a game, I don't think the same applies. I think...
So your release schedule, you mean? For like,
But then
video
you'd
games?
never buy it at full price. would you?
Exactly.
'Cause
No,
you'd always be
exactly,
worrying
exactly,
about the
but-
sales.
But then, the state we're in at the moment, where it's so unpredictable, you never would anyway. I don't know. It's a weird one.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know exactly.
think it
what you mean.
comes down
is
to the
frustrating.
individual.
You've just got to know that could happen.
It comes
I
down
know.
to the individual or your obsession with cookies. That seems to be what the thing is.
Yeah,
There's
that's
another
exactly
one
what
here.
I'm saying. I'm glad you listened,
Yeah,
Simon.
I'm
That's
listening.
great. Thank you very much. Thank
What's
you.
next?
There was another one. The Destiny exclusive deal, in the sense that at
I
launch...
still don't understand that.
So at launch, there's PS4 or PlayStation exclusive content, and then the DLC, the expansion packs, they will also have further PlayStation exclusive content. It's all the same price, you know. So
Is that timed
Xbox users
exclusives
are
or
So what's the problem?
Timed exclusives. They're available exclusive on PlayStation until at least autumn 2015.
Okay, so what's the issue?
So, does this mark a slippery slope in how multi-platform exclusivity works? Because even though there has been like timed exclusive stuff at launch, but there's never been in DLC further down the line. Do you know what I mean?
I just don't, what's the problem?
Well,
What's
there
the
has
issue
been.
here? I don't
Like,
understand.
Timed
Call of
exclusive
Duty stuff is always timed
Yeah,
exclusive.
timed exclusive DLC has always been a thing.
but,
so I don't-
it's always
but
shit,
whenever it
like-
comes out on the other platform, you're paying the same and you're getting the same content.
So it's additional content as well as it being.
So you're getting additional content for
Well,
the same
so-
price.
So the
So
issue
the
is,
Xbox users are losing out. They'll get it eventually, like a year down the line.
but so the issue is that you paid say 50 quid on PS4 and
Yeah.
you pay 50 quid on Xbox One,
yeah.
but the PS4 version has more content in it.
Yes, and it will continue to have more content going forward.
I find that mad. In the sense, it's not a problem. Buy it on PS4. if you want the content.
Yeah, but what if you've got an Xbox One and
then
you
buy
have
it,
made
and don't
a
worry.
huge mistake.
Don't worry that you've already got like a 700-hour game. Don't worry about the little bits of content you're not getting. It's not a problem. I don't understand why this is the problem.
It kind of sucks because like
It
time
doesn't suck.
exclusivity is a way of making your console stand out compared
Then
to the
buy a
one.
PS4 rather than Xbox One if that's what you want. What you want is exclusive content, and you know that you want Destiny, and that's got go buy a PS4.
what would be the bigger issue? Destiny being PS4 exclusive, or the content, certain content being PS4 exclusive?
Destiny being PS4 exclusive.
I don't have a problem either way. Again, it's if you've bought an Xbox One, there must have been a reason why you bought the Xbox One. If you bought the Xbox One for Destiny, then you've made a mistake. It's your fault.
But similar to the last question, it's kind of like, well, those guys have paid the same. They've got the same game, but they're getting more for their money.
I think
but they didn't buy the Xbox One for Destiny. They've been having Titanfall adventures and Loco Cycle adventures. There's other stuff they've done on it.
But I guess also, does it pave the way towards different stuff? Like in 3 years' time, could PS4
if
or
Destiny
Xbox
sells
One
more copies on
have an
those-
entire side campaign exclusive?
If it does,
Assassin's
so
Creed has had like
just explain.
60 minutes on PlayStation platforms for a couple of
That's
iterations
that's
now.
just a couple of missions, right? That's
But
not
this
like
is-
But we don't know what the content
This is ridiculous. A few years ago, Destiny could have been a PS4 exclusive. Then you get nothing. At least now you've got the option to play some of Destiny.
But you'd never bought
most of it.
Yeah, I don't understand why this is an issue. No one moaned when GTA 3 just came out on the PS2. Oh, this is unbelievable.
Well, they
No,
did
it's-
afterwards.
But do you know what I mean? It's exclusive. So if you want that exclusive content, you buy the console.
But I agree. I think there's a sense. I think a sense of entitlement plays into this discussion. But I do also think that if other people are being given certain content for a certain price, and that is not
time exclusivity isn't good for people that play games. It's good for people that sell games, and that's just
No, that I agree with.
That-
but my point is now, if you're an Xbox One user and you are not happy with the way the Activision are promoting, then don't buy it. You have the power. The power is in your hands. Do not buy it. But the point is, everybody will buy it that wants it. So it's not a problem. I'd be well up for the argument if I thought people were genuinely going to stop and say no. We won't. I'd be like, right, good. Now we have a thing, but they'll buy it anyway. So they're just moaning for the sake of
This
it.
is
I
video
guess
games,
it's
not
worrying
food.
about where it ends up, like how far that ends.
Well, it will end up with you get there's some side missions on. Like Watch Dogs did that, didn't it? It had side missions.
No, how far did it lock out entire modes? Did it lock out entire campaigns, etc.? I don't know.
Even if it does, you
Buy it
have-
on PC
And the whole GameStop thing as well, right? The whole
Well, that's terrible. That's bad. Like a marketer.
Why is that any different? Out of interest, why is retailer specific content different to platform specific?
What are we talking about now? I'm confused. I thought the whole point of GameSpot were actively helping.
Yeah, they are. So if you
is that what we're talking about?
if you,
though?
yeah. So if you pre-order, this is the assumption, but I guess if you pre-order or buy a game from GameStop, that will have specific content exclusive to the retailer, as they often do at the moment. But I think they're looking for it to be bigger content. So is that any different to content being locked to a specific platform?
I'm not a massive fan of the actual retailer being involved in the process.
I think you can't be a fan of either of them, though, can you? They both just kind of suck.
I'm not a fan of it splitting the content, but I don't have a problem with it either because I think the power is in, like I say, the consumer's hands, and they have the power to do something about it, but they won't. So but
there are so many variations now on the same product.
But-
It's like buy it from this retailer, you get this.
But
content,
none of it
buy
is
on this platform,
integral
you get
to
this
like
content.
to the game. It's like with Watch Dogs.
But
Like
it must be diluting it, surely. It must be.
But it's
having
just
an
a,
impact.
it's just a
usually
skin or a
bollocks.
weapon skin or
No,
or
it
whatever.
is. But I get the impression that going forward, it perhaps
could
won't be as
change.
bollocks as it will be now.
Well, okay, so if it gets to a point where maybe you're losing a significant chunk of game, then yes, we have an issue. But with the Destiny problem, just boxing that, I don't see it as a problem. Like, it's better that it's multi-platform because you can play it if you do have an Xbox One. You're not going to miss out on much. You've still got a huge game there. And if you're that serious about it, trade in your Xbox One and buy a PS4.
I wonder how far they've got to go before people do even actively consider boycotting something like that. It's got like
Never. It will never happen. It will never happen.
We've seen like I remember with Batman Arkham City, there were some really interesting missions that were separated to
Well,
retailers.
it's the online
right?
pass, right? Wasn't it with Catwoman? The online pass stuff.
They were dick anyway.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
they
Well,
weren't that
but
good.
in the- but
I
it's not
assume there's like I thought there was like a
10 out of 10.
Joker side mission for
Maybe there
one.
was.
and,
No,
like,
that
they were all
was
split
in
into-
the challenge maps. That was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But there wasn't in the past. This issue was like a technological one. So the only example that really springs to mind right now is Final Fight. So Final Fight on SNES didn't have had 3 characters in the arcade version, like Cody, Guy, and Hagar, and in the SNES version, I believe it didn't have Guy. The Mega CD version had all 3 characters, And so on SNES, they had to release Final Fight again, just called Final Fight Guy.
And Final Fight Guy.
Yeah, and so you had that before, and it was technological. Now it's obviously not an issue.
Yeah,
it's marketing.
But I just
none of it's too integral for me to worry about.
I think years ago, Destiny would have been a PS2, we'll say, exclusive, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't have, if someone's paid money to make that game exclusive, then that's the power of the exclusive. You have to buy that console.
And if it lessens the game, then you don't like the game.
But I think we're in a better position now, because now you can buy, if you've got Xbox One, you just get less content. I think, well, at least you still have the option to buy it. It's better than having to go out and drop 400 quid on less than that, on a PS4. I'd much rather this situation where it's all open and you pay, publishers pay for extra content on machines and actually close it off to other people. I think it's a better situation than it was 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's as long as they're not cutting from the main game.
Yeah.
So we can have this discussion again when it's demonstrably proven that, say, 3 to 5 campaigns that are integral to Destiny, not side campaigns, part of the story,
that's bad.
Are on PlayStation, and they were cut specifically for that reason.
Yeah, that's
then
bad.
That's a problem. And when we get there, we can shout from the mountains.
Yeah, I agree. That's
right now. I don't
when
think
it comes to paying for additional content, which you are with an expansion pack, and yet again, part of that additional content is locked out. Is that not a problem as well?
How do you mean?
It's the DLC itself. You're buying additional content. You're not buying the base game. But again, part of that is being locked out. Does that make any difference to what we're saying or not?
Well, so you buy DLC and you don't get all of it.
Yeah,
because
part of it is exclusive to PS4.
It's the same rule.
Yeah, but it's fine. It's fine because you know what you're getting before you buy it.
Totally, I'm saying.
So
does it make a difference to the argument?
No, I don't think so.
It's pretty grey about now.
I think the problem becomes when you do say, if you buy on PS4, you get 100% of the game. If you buy, I'm talking about full experience. If you buy an Xbox One, you get 85% of the game. There's actually physical things then it's like, well, no, that's no good. As long as it's additional content, so, a fetch quest mission, a gun, bollocks like that, which is not really that big a deal. As long as a PS4 user and an Xbox One user can experience the game as intended without the extra stuff, and I don't think we're in a better position now than we were, like I say, 15 years ago, where you're physically, pushed out of buying a game because you don't have a console.
I think if this is enough to put you off buying the game as well, don't be annoyed at Sony and Microsoft. That it's a shitty practice, but if it's got results, then they're going to do it. You should be annoyed at the people making the game and not protecting it enough. If they feel that that's an important part of the game that's missing, then be pissed off.
20 years ago, one of the main a massive problem that Sega had was that Tomb Raider was Sony had. I think Tomb Raider was Saturn exclusive for a little while. It was exclusive on one of them, and then suddenly that game started to get mad buzz, and people were like frothing at the mouth. They wanted to play it, and then when the timed exclusivity ended, it became this massive phenomenon. So it's not anything new, and I think you're kind of right, Miller, is that locking people out of the actual game is something that's not really happening anymore. It used to be, especially with Capcom in kind of the PlayStation 2 era. You can play Resident Evil 2 on Saturn.
I think it's just the concept that you're paying the same. In those days, you either bought it or you were not able to.
Yeah, but look, video games hate you, Dave.
I know.
And they hate me.
We're going to go around in circles.
But I get your point entirely. I just think,
I don't really have an opinion either way, to be honest.
I just think if I have £50, I should look in to see what I'm getting first. And if I genuinely look across the physical, the makeshift made up pond, and go, I feel a bit screwed here because the PS4 I'm paying the same. But then you shouldn't buy it, and you should vote with your wallet. That's what people never do.
And you're not that type of guy that would go, hang on, that guy's paid 50 quid and he's got another half an hour out.
No, I'd just be happy.
But I think there'll be some people who would think that.
Yes, I totally agree. But I think that this is where a whole other argument comes in, and this is the problem with DLC, with expansions, with day one content, and all that kind of stuff. Is that people will, and I'm not. And if you hear this, I'm not talking to you, the listener. I'm talking people in general will get upset about it, and then they'll buy it. So you're moaning for you're not doing anything to stop the process. You're actively supporting the publishers in what they're doing. And until people
you're
actually
voting, imagine that's a ballot slip. That money is confirmation. Yes, you are.
Because I know people say this. People say if you don't like it, don't buy it. But there's a game there that you want to play.
Yeah, but it's not food.
That doesn't mean that you necessarily support the practice of.
No, but as soon as you drop 50 quid on Destiny on Xbox
tacit
One,
approval. Absolutely.
You have said to yourself, you know what? Even though you are doing that, I still really want to play Destiny.
That's the point.
So you can't really moan about it.
But is that exactly it? By moaning about it, that is your argument against it.
Yeah, but moaning about it and then going along with the practice is pointless.
The results,
doesn't.
the results arguably, have to speak for themselves, don't they?
Yeah.
Because the
Also-
reason time exclusivity exists is because they've done it
But-
and people have bought more of one than the other.
6 months to a year after Destiny's released, Activision aren't going to add up, how many tweets moaned about it? They're going to add up, right, what's the bottom line? How many
no,
people
of course.
bought it? So, if they look at it and go, wow, numbers are well down, then they go on social media and go, shit, it's because of this, then yes, that would be awesome, but that doesn't happen because... I think it's the minority anyway who get upset about stuff like this. There's nothing wrong with that. Minorities should still speak up and say things, obviously. But at the same time, I still think that minority, if they want to play Destiny, play Destiny. What? What was wrong with that?
You said minorities should speak up for themselves. It was.
No, that's it.
I know.
No, what I mean is, I don't think just because you're in the minority you shouldn't say anything. But at the same time, the greater amount of people that want Destiny don't care. They just want to play Destiny.
Probably better wording.
Fuck Destiny.
I'm not talking about
I know you're
ethnic groups.
No, you're not.
Gee, I'm talking about people on Twitter.
We're talking about trolls.
Yeah, pretty much.
We're
There
all
you
talking
go.
about trolls. Okay, well, I guess what a heated exchange that was. For what
It's interesting, though, right?
It
Look,
is.
It is interesting. I do understand both sides. I don't want to
Oh,
come
yeah.
across like that.
It's getting warm in here. Let's
It
wrap
is
this
getting
up.
very hot.
I need to go to the gents as well.
All right then. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we will wrap this up. This was the Video Gamer UK podcast. Thank you for listening.
What
and
about that
thank
thing that's at the bottom of your notes?
Ooh.
Prepared, Braz. Prepared.
Before we finish, I'd just like to make a quick note that there is a podcast competition.
Oh, right.
currently running.
Is this what's in Dave Scammell's drawer?
We really ran out of ideas this time.
I like it. Are they drawing? Are they making a video? Are they just writing a list?
Something visual. It can be whatever you like.
Yep.
Something.
Well,
that
list
we-
is visual.
Yeah, but something that ideally, well, it doesn't have to be. You can do an audio list. Something that we can show off in a video would be preferable. So, what do you think is in David Scammell's secret office
Well, at the
drawer?
moment, they seem to think I have Rolf Harris memorabilia.
So, if you want to enter that competition and win a video game of your choice, then no one said it. No one
50
said it.
quid
Up to a value of £50.
from shop2.net.
There we are. There's the small print. Then go on the forums and there's a
How much
thread
is
there.
Destiny?
I reckon you could probably get
You could get
a
it for 50.
version of Destiny.
If
If
ZX
it's,
version.
if it's 60 quid, does shop2.net give you a 50 quid voucher?
I don't think
That's how it
so.
works.
I think it has to be
That's a bigger issue.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, by the time this podcast competition ends, it'll be coming up to Destiny time. So
Whoa.
enter now and
That's
you
well
might be
timed.
able to win Destiny.
Or
Yeah.
any game of your choice, David Scammell, up to a value of £50.
Rogue
Dragon
Warrior.
Pass.
Dragon's
Dragon
Pass,
Pass.
yeah.
No, they won't do
Look,
that one.
I'm out.
Man, you are desperate to
I'm
leave.
sorry, man. You know,
Okay.
we've been babbling on for days
Well,
now.
There's the podcast competition. Let's say our goodbyes. Goodbye, Stephen Burns.
Bye.
Bye, Simon Miller.
See you later, Christopher Bratt. Thank you very much for having me. Long live you and your king of kooky Dragon's Pass.
And David Scammell.
I love you all.
Excellent. Goodbye.